79 years ago, Tiranga was raised over free India. We got independence, and it was not gifted, it was earned. Earned through the relentless efforts of our freedom fighters. Earned through the tears, blood, and sweat of our forefathers. Now, as we approach midway, which is 79th Independence Day, we are a rising, confident nation. We are a nation of aspirations. We are the fastest growing major economy, a leader in digital innovation, a stalwart in space exploration. But here lies the question: what will be the future of India? What will India of 2047 look like? Will India be the torchbearer of democracy? Will India be the torchbearer of sustainability? Will India of 2047 go for humanity? So, India of 2047 is not just a responsibility of country, but it is a responsibility of every citizen. It is a responsibility that we inherited us from our forefathers, and we have to give it to the future. Hello friends, my name is Uttam Kumar Verma and you're watching StudyIQ English. Now we'll see what will India of 2047 will look like. What were the earlier conditions? What was India of 1947? So when we talk about India of 1947, it was a nation which was reborn, it was free, but it was fragile. Fragile why? Because of partition, the wounds of partition. Fragile why? Because of communal divide, because of poverty, because of illiteracy, because of caste discrimination. Now, India of 1947 was having dominant agrarian economy. However, it was traditional agriculture. Poverty and illiteracy, where around 80% of the population was in deep poverty. It was also grappled with social challenges like caste-based discrimination, gender-based discrimination, and at last we had a new independent nation, but our global standing was low. Now, as of now, India of 2025, when we talk about today, we are the currently 4th largest economy, having more than $4 trillion of GDP. We have a booming service sector. We have a booming manufacturing sector. We have comparatively good literacy rate of around 80%, and life expectancy has improved to 70 years. Poverty, especially extreme poverty, has been reduced to less than 5%. However, the inequality persists. For example, India, 1% of the top Indians hold around 40% of the national wealth, as per Oxfam report. We saw infrastructure boom, where we are dreaming of bullet train projects and we are making it a reality. We are having expressways, we are having 5G connectivity rollout, we are talking about 6G, we are having renewable energy, we are leader in solar energy. Technology innovation, we have reached moon, Chandrayaan-3 success. Aadhaar Digital India Revolution, especially JAM. UPI is leading global fintech models. Now, we also have a global voice. We saw in the leadership in G20. We are a leader in UN peacekeeping and climate change negotiations. We are the voice of South. We are the leader of developing nations. But despite the leader, despite India of 2025, which has achieved great heights, there are some challenges. For example, challenges of inequality, challenges of jobless growth, challenges of climate stress, challenges of delayed justice, challenges of delayed justice. Now, we'll see in detail a bit. Now, if we talk about Indian challenge, first is we have huge demographic dividend, where majority of the young population, around 65% of the young population, is under 35 years of the age. It means the population is economically very much productive. However, there is lack of skilling, there is lack of quality education, there is lack of formal jobs, and there is a risk that demographic dividend can turn into demographic disaster. Second challenge is huge inequality, where top 1% of the population has around 40% of the national wealth. Top 10% of the Indians control 77% of the national wealth. there is regional disparities. Southern states surge ahead in literacy, in health, while other like northern states and northeastern states lag behind. Social inequality overlaps exist with caste discrimination, gender discrimination, as well as rural-urban divides. There are other challenges, for example, climate stress, where India faces 5 to 7 extreme weather events every year. Cyclones, floods, landslides, cloudbursts, lightning strikes, and whatnot. Water scarcity exists in 21 major cities. As per Niti Aayog report, all the metro cities are in deep water stress. The coastal cities like Mumbai and Chennai face severe climate migration crisis, where due to the risk of flood, due to risk of coastal flood, people are migrating towards hinterland, and it is creating conflict between communities. It has also led to delayed justice, where there are huge pending cases. So as of now, we have 4.5 to 5 crore pending case in Indian judiciary. We have around 3.5 crore cases pending in lower courts, around 80,000 cases pending in Supreme Courts. It has led to judiciary being overburdened. Also, the vacancies exist in judiciary. For example, 30% of the seats in high courts are vacant for the judges, and it is overburdening judiciary. Now, this 79th Independence Day is not just a celebration, but it is a midway. It is a checkpoint of whatever we have achieved and how far we have to go. We stand at the midpoint between the dreams of 1947 and the promise of 2047. Our economy as of now is the fastest growing major economy. But you can see the paradox that our farmers still face uncertainty. There is still huge rural-urban divide. We have reached moon. We are talking about Mars, but millions lack clean drinking water in India. So it is a paradox and it needs to be resolved. So from the darkness of 1947 to the dynamism of 2025, India has traveled. But the road to 2047, our 100th year of independence, is where we decide if we remain a developing giant or become a truly developed, equitable or sustainable superpower. The future is not just in policies or plans, but in the hands of every citizen who chooses to act. So it is the responsibility of every Indian to act. Now, India of 2047, what it will be look like? We should have a $10 trillion economy. As per different reports, we have $10 to $30 trillion economy. We should have universal education and healthcare. We should have energy independence via renewable energy. We should have global technology and innovation leadership. And India of 2047 should have ecological resilience from disasters. Now, India of 2047 have some pillars. For example, economic leadership, social equity, climate resilient, institutional excellence, and global diplomacy. When we talk about economic leadership, so from emerging to developed, we are targeting around $30 trillion economy, and with having per capita income exceeding 15,000 US dollars. We should be a innovation superpower, where we are a global hub for artificial intelligence, a global hub for green hydrogen, a global hub for quantum computing as well as biotechnology. We should focus on value-added manufacturing, where Make in India should evolve into design and innovate in India. And we should focus on high-tech sectors, for example, semiconductors, for example, space tech, for example, defense exports. Now, about social equity, we should target zero extreme poverty, where every citizen should have basic dignity to live. We should focus on gender equality, where we should have full parity in workforce participation, political representation, as well as equal pay. And when we talk about gender equality, we should also take the concern of transgenders. We should also focus on bridging regional gaps, where the balanced development between north and south, the balanced development between east and west. So it should be across all states, and it should remove India versus Bharat divide, the rural versus urban divide. We should target 0% extreme poverty. We should target zero hunger. We should target high human development index score. We should target gender parity in workforce. We should target equitable regional development. And there should be no Bimaru tag of northern states. Now, third is we need to focus on climate resilient nation, where we need to focus on net zero transition. So at least 50% of the renewable energy should be there by 2047. There should be water security, where we have focused on watershed development, we have revived our lakes, we have revived our rivers, and we have recharged groundwater. We should have efficient irrigation, we should have efficient rainwater harvesting system. We should focus on urban green zone, where all the cities are integrated with blue-green infra. Thus, we should focus on net zero pathway on track so that every person has the dignity to move around. We should target 50% plus renewable energy, and there should be urban green spaces. Now, we should also focus on democratic and institutional excellence. Now, we should focus on judicial efficiency, where as of now, it takes around 10 to 15 years on an average to resolve one case in courts. We should focus on that it should be resolved within 2 years. We should focus on digital governance, where every public service accessible should be on a single citizen portal and it should be in real time. We should focus on devolution of power to local governments so that these local governments become very strong. So we need to empower our Gram Sabha and urban local bodies. At last, India of 2047, to become a superpower, we need to enhance our global role. We will become UNSC permanent member. We will be recognized as a leader of Global South. India of 2047 will be focusing on trade and cultural diplomacy. And India of 2047 will expand its influence through education, sports, film, yoga, and Ayurveda. It means enriching or using our soft power. We need to focus on peace and stability architect, where India plays an active role in mediating conflicts, leading climate diplomacy, as well as setting global norms. Now, in this, the role of citizens are very important. Now, in this, the role of citizens is very important, where there is a need for responsible citizenship. There is a need for sustainable habits like minimizing waste, conserving resources. There is a need for skill upgradation, so that we should have continuous learning to match global standards. There should be need of unity and diversity, to cherish unity and diversity, to reject any kind of divisive ideology and strengthen pluralism. Now, Azadi Ka Amrit Kal, it is said, the time of now till our 2047. Now, Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, it is said, it is a time we need to reach a developed country status. What we need to do? We need to focus on economic transformation. From investing in sunrise sectors like artificial intelligence, quantum tech, biotechnology, green hydrogen, to shifting from make in India to innovate in India, to design in India, and we need to increase R&D spending. We need to focus on social justice and inclusion, where we should provide universal healthcare, universal education, quality selling, elimination of extreme poverty, gender parity in workforce, gender parity in political representation. We need to ensure that there is net zero emissions by 2070 and there should be 50% plus renewable energy. We should ensure that there is climate resilient infrastructure for cities as well as agriculture. Our agriculture should be modern. Our forest should be vibrant. We should focus on aggressive forestation and water conservation programs. We should focus on strengthening of institutions. We need judicial reforms to clear backlogs within 2 to 3 years. We need digitally integrated governance. We need strong and accountable local government. At last, we need to ensure that there is strong global diplomacy from India. We need to secure UN Security Council permanent seat. We need to lead Global South on various issues, on development issues, on climate issues, on migration issues. We need to expand India's cultural diplomacy through soft power. Now, in 1947, our forefathers gave us freedom. Now, by 2047, it is our duty to give the next generation a nation that is strong, that is innovative, that is fair, that is compassionate, which is true Viksit Bharat. Our journey from 79 to 100, which is Azadi Ka Amrit Kal, it's not just about graphs, it's not just about GDP, but it is more about values, justice, sustainability, and innovation. The next 22 years will decide whether India commands respect by default or demands it by desperation. So thank you and happy Independence Day.